I want to talk about lyricism for a minute because obviously I write my lyrics and stuff, and I'm quite interested to know the sort of creative process behind that. Obviously,
Yeah.
you say that you have to wait for the moment to come, and maybe for me, two or three lines might come, then you build from there or whatever.
Yeah.
What do you find often your inspiration comes from? Everyday things or things you see on the I don't know. Where would you say the majority of inspiration comes from for you when it comes for lyrics?
I'd
Do
say
you,
it's mainly it is like my mind's eye imagination. Maybe I'll hear something that will then give me an idea for a metaphor essentially, or I'll just think of something in my mind, kind of envision something and
yeah,
see it as a metaphor for something else, and it will give me like another layer of understanding to something I've maybe figured out, within life that can go into the
yeah,
lyric. You know what I mean? I'll spin it into something, or if I hear like certain sounds and the beat, it will just give me like a vision in my head of what goes with that sound,
yeah.
and it can just roll from there. And if it comes off nice, then we get a whole track. If it doesn't, then give up after 4 bars. But yeah, it's usually just it's like just something I see in my brain, just something I see in my brain.
Blood on the concrete, tar in my lungs. Don't take much till I part with the funds. Parents ain't had a heart for their son. Mentally vent when I'm sparking a blunt. All the rungs on Jacob's ladder came off as I fell in a well full of adders. Holding their bladders with a bag of the smash. One tick for a wee bit, they're bad for the cash. How's that? Little men out here talking.
It's interesting that you used the word metaphor because
Yeah.
that was something I was going to mention. Like, I've listened to a lot of your stuff, and I'd say, I don't know if you'd agree, but I'd say quite a lot of it is fairly abstract. But like you say, if you listen close enough and you pay attention and you want to try and break it down, a lot of your stuff, although it does sound quite abstract on the surface, I find that I can sort of gain my own understanding of what you're trying to say. Is that something that when you're writing these lyrics, are you consciously trying to deliver some kind of subliminal message through them?
Yeah, it's not just an abstract jumble, even though it might seem that to someone who's maybe like a unseasoned listener of rap or something. If you break it down, like you said, I'm glad you can understand it, because it is literally everything in there does have a meaning in one way or another.
Yeah.
It is literally some of them are like even a layer underneath what something else is. Some of them, like, I don't realise until after I've written it. It's really strange.
I really am relating to you right now. I'm interested to hear this.
You can realise something under the bar, like, that you don't even know you've written. But
Why do you think it is that you choose to do it that way? Because obviously it might be easier or harder, I don't know, but a lot of rap is like, say what you want to say, straight up and direct, no beating around the bush. It's just, it is what it is, and it's clear what people mean.
Yeah.
Is the abstract kind of masquerading it and integrating it into a bit of sort of something that doesn't, it says something without saying it? Is that something that has always been your style, or would you say there came a point where perhaps your lyrics maybe sat and thought, they're a bit simplistic, and you then went up a notch and started playing around a bit more? Has that always been your sort of style? Do you know what I'm trying to say there?
It's definitely a culmination of both of those things, I think. I feel like, when I started writing, obviously I was like happy for a bit just putting together just straight up simple things in, like, maybe, just like the common verbiage you use, just speaking to people day to day, just not without spinning it a different way. And I wrote like that for a little while, maybe about a year, and it came down to it that it just was boring for me in the end.
Yeah.
It seemed a bit like writing like the Sugar Hill Gang or something, like kind of just like, I don't know, it seemed like well too easy at the end. So I just started adding layers to it and writing. Obviously, a lot of the people I look up to lyrically write similarly to that.
Okay.
I like people who have thick lyricism, metaphors, and imagery.
Tell me some of the people that your biggest inspirations are.
I like Baxter.
Yeah, I can hear a lot of that in you, actually.
He's just like that. There's a lot of American rappers as well, like Aesop Rock. He's got the highest word count of any MC, I'm pretty sure.
What, in terms of actual lyrics? word count?
Words that he's used, the highest like amount of words.
Oh, different words. Okay.
Yeah.
Who's that, Aesop?
Which is just, it's called Aesop Rock, like
Aesop.
Aesop.
Yeah. So he's American. Baxter. Who else?
Who else? I'll look up lyrically. Who do I listen to on the regular? I don't know. I listen to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Mind right now.
So, how important is the sort of integrity in lyrics to you? Because obviously it's easy to write a bunch of lyrics about fucking the typical shit, flexing, money, girls, the generic stuff. How important is it for you to maintain a degree of integrity and almost expressing your ideas about the world in your songs rather than just waffling a load of shit that anyone could do?
Yeah, literally, for me that is essential. That is one of the essential factors in my music. And it's not even down to a fact of like what other people think of me and the way they portray my music and what they hear. It's at the end of the day, if I'm writing something and I have to lay it with conviction on a track, am I going to believe it? Like I'm not going to go and talk about something that I haven't done for the sake of the music, because for me, like at the moment especially, I'm not even getting paid from this music. Like I'm not going to make something that is a piece of shit to me. I'm not going to sit there and listen to it and enjoy it if I'm talking about a load of shit. So for me, it has to be completely authentic. It has to be how I'm feeling, exactly the way I see it.
Yeah.
It has to be
100%. 100%. What I've done here, you don't have to do this, but I've gone into it and listened to a few of your tracks and wrote down a few lines of a few different tracks that I found most sort of just most interesting and fascinating. I wondered, you don't have to do this. If I read them out to you, maybe you could break them down a little bit and maybe the thoughts.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah. All right, we'll do that, and then I'm gonna move on from lyricism after this. I hope you've got a spare half hour, because I've got subjects that I want to touch on, but lyricism is definitely one of the main ones because I'm fascinated by it. If you struggle, you can move on. It don't matter. You don't have to sit here and give me your life story. I'm not asking you to do that.
Fine.
Same time, open up as much as you want. But from Gone, which is on your SoundCloud. Team clinically insane. Meet me in my padded cell, counting down every single minute till it's back to hell. Eyes heavier than life, so I slap myself. Pondering my worth as a man like rap will tell. Guess it's the only thing that made me feel. From the days we were playing in the mud, the only light guiding through this dark cave. So as long as I can breathe, I can never give it up.
Team clinically insane. Meet me in my padded cell, counting down every single minute till it's back to hell. Eyes heavier than life, so I slap myself, pondering my worth as a man like rap will tell. Guess it's the only thing that made me feel. From the days we were playing in the mud, the only light guiding through this dark cave. So as long as I can breathe, I can never give it up.
To me, that is you, sort of. I don't know. You tell me.
Literally, that. At the end of the day, like I'm gonna level. Like I do struggle with mental health issues, and I have done for quite a while.
And I can hear that in your rap. So if you want to break it down for me.
Yeah. Which obviously plays a huge part. It does in a lot of artists' lives. It's the way people are when you're like empathic. When you're an artist, you usually understand a different side of life to some people. Maybe I don't know. I've heard it a lot from a lot of different artists, but just there's not very many things that are left making me happy in life. There's not a lot of things that are left pure and left untouched by like just the way life's grown over time. But rap's one of those things. Just making music is one of those things, and that's how it feels sometimes. I used to get insomnia a lot, and I would be awake a lot of like nights in succession, 3 or 4 nights maybe. I'd just be up and I'd be writing music, maybe producing on my headphones, and it would be the only thing that essentially just stopped me from losing my brain a bit overnight.
So it's like an outlet, and I guess that's with any art, isn't it? It's a channel for expression. What do you think? You say that, again, cut me off if you don't want to talk about it, but you say that there's not a lot of things that are leaving you happy, and that's because of the way life's gone. Do you almost feel like, because I sometimes feel, and I'm sure a lot of people do, that like when you look at the way society's moving, especially with things like social media and news and just in this constant bubble of trivia and stuff, do you feel like that plays a massive part in why you do? Has that triggered the rap? Is it in a form of escape, maybe?
It is. It is a form of escapism and a form of allowing myself to feel like I have a voice through what's going on. Maybe a layer of control through like an uncontrollable world, maybe.
Yeah. Wow. I like that quote. That's definitely a quote. I listen, as I sit through interviews, I have light bulb moments of shit, that's a bit I need to use. A level of control in a world that feels uncontrollable might be the top quote, mate. From Fantasia, again, you don't need to break this down because I think we've just discussed this where it's come from. Like it's more for the listeners. I can sort of roughly have my gauge on what you're trying to say here, but guess the root of the problem. We're all animals. It's too late when we're laying down apathy. Teacher, going to take your sabbatical. Preach all you want. You ain't saving the galaxy.
Fantasia, the flavour is classical. Send the A to the major's a tragedy. Same wave had him drop down the mandibles. Made pace, but I did it so casually. Guess the root of the problem, we're all animals. It's too late when we're laying down apathy. Teacher, go and take your sabbatical. Preach all you want, you ain't saving the galaxy.
I love that line. What do you mean by specifically, teacher, go and take your sabbatical, preach all you want, you ain't saving the galaxy?
I believe currently we're seeing, because of things like social media, we're able to have a wider view now on not only the people just at the top of power, literally every single rung of the tree, we're able to have a surveillance on people and their decisions and what they're doing. People are getting scrutinised and we can see it in a blink now. It's on your social media feed. So we've come to learn, I think, that all the people who maybe in past times where people were just told one thing and they believed it, they would hold someone in a high respect if they're in power or something. And we can see now that even, no matter who someone is, they can be, the highest scholar, they can be held in high standards. They can be a teacher of many, but at the end of the day, they can still be a piece of shit and shouldn't be trusted with what the people are told, because our planet's dying and no one's really caring.
Yeah, it's mad. It is mad. Last one. No change for the pub, bruv. I'm dug under. Thug underscore drug lover, some sucker. What's that?
No change for the pub, bruv. I'm dug under. Thug underscore drug lover, some sucker.
Blunder. No change for the pub, bruv. I'm dug under. Thug underscore drug lover, some sucker.
Maybe it don't mean nothing.
Well, no, that's it's no change for the pub. But yeah, because I'm poor. Underscore drug lover, some sucker. Oh, I think it was just like, like you get names on like PS3 and shit.
Yeah.
Like a play on like, kind of like a childish kind of reference to like, kind of the jovial indulgence in drugs, but how at the end of the day it just fucking turns most people into a mess.
Yeah.
That's the most I can link to that one.
Yeah.
While he speaks, stick a neighbour's spine. Days behind the bind crime in my little rhyme. Syndicates of mine, laid minds in the nick of time. Ripple sky parting as I find my peace. Got me feeling like Jason Gold Boy in the shining fleece.
That's obviously from your Loud House rap.
Yeah.
Which I commented saying it made me want to throw all my lyrics in the bin. A few days later, I went back and looked at some of my lyrics and thought, okay, I am sort of on par. I'm not that far off. But I'm not.
I wouldn't say that.
No, I know, but literally, I sat and watched it 5 times. Like, fuck, that's like the whole thing was just like abstract to a new level for me. Like,
I appreciate that.
No, it really was. Like, I think we're similar without realising, because obviously we haven't met up, we haven't rapped together, but a lot of stuff that I listen of yours, I sort of see myself coming from the same sort of angle. But literally, that was like on another level. Like, even the flow. Let's talk about flow now, because it's the way you roll over the end of a bar rather than, I've only just started to be able to do that, where it's not just each line per bar and it's just quite robotic. Whereas with that, it's like you're rolling over the end of a bar and taking a pause in the middle of a bar, just all sorts of shit going on, and it was literally, I loved it. How important is flow something? Because for me, I don't mean to keep relating back to me, but when I write, I don't decide how it's going to flow. It's just like, I listen to the beat and it comes out, the flow comes, the beat for me dictates the flow, obviously, but are you conscious of trying to integrate new flows, or do you just sort of roll with it and whatever comes out?
Occasion when I'm listening to music, I'm conscious of like what people's flows do. Obviously, after you've listened to a lot of different rappers, you start to understand what different flows and styles are and how they can make things become seamless through like extending certain types of vowels in words and stuff. You just notice patterns. And I think that's more subconsciously gone into mine, because I do the same as you, really. I listen to the beat, and however I like to feel it on the beat, that's how it ends up going, really.
Yeah.
Maybe if I've been writing with a similar kind of flow for, like 8 bars, and I repeat it back to myself, I think, oh, you know what, I'm going to change it double time for the next, 4 bars or whatever, and then take it back or something. It depends how it comes out, though, because at the end of the day, like, you can write something, then you hate it, and you have to go back and all reverse. But if something's getting done in one go, I usually just feel the beat and go with it. It all just comes quite autonomously, consciously.
Yeah. Do you need a beat on to write lyrics, or do you ever write lyrics in your head while you're, like you say, you're out and about, and then pick a beat afterwards? Or do you need a beat?
I prefer to write with a beat.
Yeah.
If I can, but at the same time, I can be out and about, and I'll think of like 4 or 8 bars or something that I like, and then I'll try and find a beat for it later, or one will come up kind of like a year down the line, and I'll think, oh, that verse could go on that.
Okay. And back to just touching on the sort of whole abstract concept thing, and it's almost like decorating simple thoughts and ideas and dressing them up to come across more profound and theatrical.
Yeah.
How hard do you find that, and what are some of the elements needed to do that? Do you need a wide vocabulary, imagination? What sort of things come into that? Because it's not like you just sit down and all this stuff starts flowing out. There's obviously a process behind it.
I don't know. Like I've always I think of things quite metaphorically anyway. It's like what my brain kind of reverts to naturally. It's kind of how I come to understand things and how I learn things. Like, I see things quite metaphorically anyway. So when I write, I don't know, the rhymes come into my head. Like, if I write a bar, the finisher to the next bar, the next word, and the end of the bar will maybe already literally naturally go into it. I'll think of it straight away. And then I kind of have to be conscious about maybe the beginning of the bar or shuffling something around. It's half and half. Yeah. Some of it just comes out naturally, and some of it I have to sit and think, oh, what could intertwine the meaning with also something that's going to sound good.
Yeah.
For me, I don't know. Because if I start writing something that comes off the top of the head that sounds really good, I want the rest of the verse to match that. I couldn't just go back to them writing, something about just, I went to pick up a drawer or something, just stands like,
no,
I can't, I don't know.
I hear. This project you come in this EP, what sort of style and themes are you discussing and trying to replicate in that? Is there a particular theme to the EP, or is it a sort of collection of different types of raps?
I'm hoping it's going to be a collection of different types of music. It's going to hold similar themes to this interview. It's going to be quite introspective, while also I'm trying to teach myself to make a few tracks that are more fun, to have more joy about doing it sometimes. Yeah, because it becomes too introspective sometimes, and I end up recording stuff that I know I'm not going to release, which is just a bit 100%. Too much. But I'm trying to have more fun with it at the moment, for sure.
That leads me nicely onto the question that I've got down here: is writing hooks, because for me, I can't write hooks. I don't even try. I can only write.
No.
I can only write bars. I
Artist,
can only
yeah.
write verses. When it comes to trying to think of something catchy, it's not me. I'm gonna have to. If I ever do make music, I'd have to get someone else to do the hook. How do you find? Do you ever try to write hooks?
I try and write hooks, and I occasionally write hooks,
Yeah.
but they're not very good.
I'll tell you one. Go
I'm
on.
not good at it.
But the one that really is good is the hip hop. That is a mad tune. That's why I wanted to ask
Yeah.
that, is because it's quite a while ago. When did you make that? A few years.
I made that
Still
probably.
gone,
I wrote
but I
that
still
in
got the-
college.
Really?
Feel gone, but I still got the hip hop. The world's wrong, but we still got the hip hop. Even when I'm old age in my flip flops, I got hip hop. We got hip hop. I feel gone, but I still got the hip hop. The world's wrong, but we still got the hip hop. Even when I'm old age in my flip flops, I got hip hop. We got hip hop. Began
Yeah, I wrote
That,
that one.
for me, is like when you say on your project you want to try and make tracks that are fun, bouncy, and bring the joy back to it. That's the epitome of that. Hip hop is really good. Did that just come out, or was that something that you
that
spent?
one-
Was that hard to make?
Not at all. That was one of those tracks that I think I wrote the 32 and the hook just sat there in the same evening. Probably took about an hour or so,
Yeah.
maybe, to write the same thing. I just wrote it before I went to bed one night. I woke up in the morning and I had college, and I just recorded it the next day. It was really strange.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
a
that's
weird one.
come out good, mate. I like that tune.
Yeah, appreciate that. You're right though. That one was a bit more upbeat.
Yeah. Is that? Yeah. I wondered. Is that when you say you want to make some tracks that are a bit more fun and upbeat? Is that the sort of thing that you're referring to?
Yeah. I'm also trying to make some, like, I don't know. It's like grime tempo stuff, but it's not grime essentially. But it's trying to be more. It's trying to have more of a positive energy in some of my tracks. But I find it hard.
I do.
Like, with keeping the conviction in what you're trying to say, like, I can't write something that's really happy when I'm not happy. I don't know.
I know exactly what you mean, mate.
You know what I mean?
Of course, definitely. If I look back to my lyric catalogue,